If you're having trouble buying up real estate in our country, or maybe you want to get into real estate investing, but you haven't had much luck, maybe you would be better off if you said that you're from China. Well, it turns out that they've been buying up billions of dollars worth of our land right here at home. Do you guys think that this is suspicious in any way? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Also, are you part of the demographic of Americans who are now, for the first time ever, finding yourself living paycheck to paycheck, having trouble paying your bills on time? If so, you are not alone. Less Americans are being considered financially healthy with little to no money set aside for an emergency. Now, how bleak is that, right? I mean, this has to be frustrating and, to be honest, unbelievable, because things weren't always like this. Do you think that this is one of the worst economic times of the United States? Drop me a quick comment, yes or no, down below. Now, if it is, why isn't the government doing a repeat of what they did back in the day? Let's just say back in 2001, 2008, send out stimulus checks. I guess we're a bit busy sending out money all over the place like the Ukraine, huh? For your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the U.S. economy, money news, economic preparedness, and economic preparation, make sure to drop a like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel. Now, passive income is possible, especially if you have the initial money to start up something like that. And it will make you money as you sleep and create positive cash flow that's more fluid in many cases. Now, real estate investing is one that can create this type of passive income opportunity with the prerequisite of creating rental property. That or flipping properties. And with the housing market starting to cool, at least we're seeing some signs of cooling. It may be a little bit easier to get into. But then of course you do have the new 6.7% 30-year fixed rate mortgages, but that's a whole nother story. But others, on the other hand, they buy real estate for other reasons. And we have news of a particular country buying acres of land right here in the United States that should be cause for concern. So get this, China, that's right. China now owns 191,000 acres of U.S. lands. 191,000 acres, you guys. Can you believe that? And they just bought more. Some of these acres, or actually a large percentage of these acres, is farmland. But get this, they just bought even more acreage in North Dakota. 300 acres was picked up by a Chinese company called Fufeng Group. So what are their plans for this land? A milling plant? The purchase has North Dakota's Governor Doug Berman ringing the alarm on this questionable sale. In fact, he just wrote a letter to the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, as well as U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, to request the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States to review the purchase. He said this: "We ask that this review process be completed with the utmost urgency to aid Grand Forks officials in their decision-making process and provide clarity on whether this land purchase has national security implications." Okay, so some of you guys might be saying, well, what's so wrong about that? We're not at war with them. They've only made small threats about our connection to Taiwan and said that they're going to blow U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi off the air. There's nothing to be worried about, right? Strong sarcasm, right, you guys? Well, the land that they're buying, it seems unbelievably conveniently close to the U.S. military bases. What a coincidence, huh? John Kirby, coordinator for the strategic communications at the National Security Council, was asked about this recently after a reporter managed to sneak the question in during a press conference.
Given the fact that known adversary, in the case China, foreign buyers are buying up U.S. real estate, in some case farms around military installations, is this on the administration's radar, and what is being done perhaps to study this or to protect Americans from making sure that homes remain affordable and so on?
I think the question of home ownership is a little bit out of my swim lane, but
national security issue, particularly when it comes to around military installations.
What I will tell you is that the president has been nothing but clear about our concerns about Chinese unfair trade practices and economic practices.
About trade.
I understand that, ma'am, but
buying up land around military installations.
Yeah, I'm probably not the right person to ask about home ownership here in the United States.
This isn't about home ownership. This is about buying up land around military installations. Is that a concern to this administration?
Now, I don't know how many times that reporter had to repeat herself, but she clearly was not pertaining to home ownership. She was asking about what they're doing about China buying up so much land that's so close to our military bases. And isn't Kirby part of the National Security Council? I mean, from the name itself, doesn't that mean to secure the nation? I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem like he's securing us very well enough. But what do you guys think? Should we be concerned, or should we just trust that they're telling us everything and that we're being told the truth? I mean, if we did, then we should also believe that our economy is doing amazing these days, that there's 0% inflation, and recession is just a word that means many different things. And no, stimulus checks wouldn't be necessary because the government is in total control of our economy. Nothing to worry about. If that was the case, then there would be more financially healthy individuals in the United States, and the demand for more stimulus checks wouldn't be so high. But a recent report is now saying that less than a third, or 31% of Americans, are at this point, with more than 55% saying that they're financially coping, and 15% are now saying that they're financially vulnerable. I honestly think that the number is a little bit more skewed beyond 15% being financially vulnerable, but that's just my anecdotal position. But if you spend more than you earn, if you're behind on your bills, and you don't have any savings and an emergency fund, then chances are you belong to the 15% of Americans who are now finding themselves in trouble. But it doesn't have to be this way. And if you find yourself struggling trying to figure out how to make ends meet, and you're looking for ways to generate additional income, then maybe we need to have a different type of conversation. And of course, if this does sound like something that you need assistance with, definitely, you guys know how to reach me. My email is in the description down below. But we have to take into account where we are right now. Times are so tough that this is actually the first time in the last 5 years that Americans' ability to pay bills on time fell. Now, I know that there will always be critics saying that everything's fine, but to these people, I suggest you check my comment section. There are so many people that are struggling to pay rent, to buy food and groceries, who are waiting on a federal stimulus check that was promised, by the way, just to hopefully break even, with a few saying that the $2,000 wouldn't even make a dent on what they owe in terms of their credit card debt, Visa, MasterCard, American Express credit cards, and other forms of high interest debt that they're carrying. I mean, that's one of the more surprising comments that I receive, as a matter of fact. I mean, just imagine receiving a stimulus check and handing over that entire amount to pay for debt and still owing money. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, that's just how insane our lives are right now. But here's the thing about economic downturns, and here's the thing about economic preparation. Once you see the signs, it's time to prepare. It's time to get ready, folks. I mean, don't even think twice about it. Because if you ignore the signs and think that things are still okay, chances are you will regret it, because economic turmoil, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It happens gradually. A lot of people have been hitting me up in the comments. You said a crash is coming. You said that there will be an economic collapse. Guys, an economic collapse doesn't happen overnight. So we're starting to see things to unravel as we speak, and it's going to get worse. It's kind of like boiling a pot of water. You don't just turn the flame on and suddenly you have boiling water. It doesn't work that way. So remember, these things take time. It happens gradually. And if you've seen the news and the truth, you would know that things are going to get much worse. Markets may crash. Stock markets may crash. Housing markets may crash. Cryptocurrency markets are already crashing. And you need to stay prepared. Do you have food? Do you have water? Have you invested in gold and silver? Have you invested in cryptocurrencies? Have you invested in alternative forms of currencies? Do you have alternative sources of income? The system hasn't crashed yet, but I'm telling you that you should be prepared for one, because it's going to happen and it's going to catch so many people off guard. You shouldn't let yourself or your family be one of those people. Inflation is not going to go away because the government is sending out more cash than they can print. And I hope that for our sake, they see just how difficult that they've made our lives. But what are your thoughts on all this, guys? Hit me up in the comment section down below. And also, guys, if you made it this far in this video, consider dropping a like for the video. And if you like this content and you like additional news and updates that I bring on this channel, consider subscribing. Check out my previous videos. I hope that you and your family are prepared. And if not, get educated and then prepare. And I'll see you on the next one.